Ghana, the land of sunshine, ethnically diverse with a fascinating heritage. This West African nation, rich in natural resources, has recently become the newest oil producer, pumping in earnest since 2010, with the expectation that its economy will boom. Ghana has sustained a decade of economic growth, supported by economic reforms.
We had in the 80s, in the 70s and the 80s, many years of negative growth. And we started a process of adjusting. So we've had reforms all over in the economy that have contributed to the growth rate that we're seeing that are inching up.
Ghana is on its way to turning its economy around. Buoyant prices for exports, including gold and cocoa, are also contributing to Ghana's growth, as seen in the busy seaport of Tema in Accra. This economic growth spurt that came partly with the oil boom made big demands on the country's financial system. In fact, it was rapidly outgrowing the authorities' capacity to supervise and monitor its financial institutions, which pose a growing risk to the country's fragile financial structure. So Ghana turned to the International Monetary Fund for support in effectively supervising its financial system, since the IMF has exceptional expertise in this area, coupled with a long history of close engagement with countries around the world. The IMF's assistance was sponsored by Switzerland's State Secretariat for Economic Affairs, or SECO. Bridget Kwande is on the ground in Accra and manages the program.
Banks are cropping up. The financial sector has become more and more complex. The risk factors related to this complexity are also increasing. Therefore, our collaboration with the IMF on the banking sector in particular is focusing on banking supervision and the central bank's capacity to identify risks, to analyze these risks, and then finally to translate this into actions.
Millicent Nar explains the challenges the central bank was facing and why they needed help.
We had to improve upon the supervisory and regulatory environment, trying to keep the banks in check so there are no excesses for them to create systemic risk for the individual who place monies with these banks. I must say that the IMF, and for that matter SECO, has been of tremendous help to the central bank when it comes to supervision.
To build the supervisory capacity and produce financial stability reports, the Bank of Ghana, in collaboration with the IMF and SECO, trained new staff who learned the latest techniques, updated the collection of information, and developed novel reporting channels.
This report is supposed to help all the stakeholders assess the risk inherent in the financial system.
This restructuring of the banking supervision system was essential for the Bank of Ghana to exercise the necessary oversight to mitigate the risks that come with the expansion of the financial system. Under the watchful eye of the authorities, Ghana's fast-growing financial sector also saw an increase in demand for retail banking. To meet this demand, new technology was slowly being introduced to deliver new products. Prince Kofi Amobeng explains that many years ago, the lengthy process for getting a business loan led him to start his own bank.
So we decided that, listen, I think the real response, the real service is to make loans available in the shortest possible time. And we said we do loans in 48 hours. And once we got that right, bang, we got more business, and we could raise more monies.
To meet the growing needs of its people, commercial banks rolled out innovations, moving into areas such as insurance and also expanding their customer service by implementing internet banking, teller machine networks, and mobile banking. Bank on Wheels is one such venture. It's a moving ATM that brings banking directly to the people. With this new environment of innovations came the need for a stronger financial framework. More competition encouraged banks to implement new strategies to expand their market. At Ghana Commercial Bank, Kojo Adiamensa explains how they're reaching out to their customer base, like farmers and teachers, by educating them on how to bank.
We had people going to them at their doorsteps to do the banking, where their stalls are, where their shops are. We gave them some financial literacy, where you speak to them and let them understand why it is important that they need to utilize the bank. And it makes them understand how it is that while they're banking with us, then they will be able to get access to credit, which then expands their business.
To improve banking services in this environment required stringent oversight to keep up with the rapidly expanding financial sector. Bustling with activity is the Malama Atao market in Accra, where the traders and farmers from across the country go to meet and sell their wares. Here, the Queen Mother is in charge. She's one of the many who receive the special services of the banks.
I remember they came down to educate us how to handle the currency, how to save, how to handle money. We need more because we have a lot of women here and they come from the rural areas to learn from Accra here, then they send it back to their rural areas and teach them.
Educating customers on how to bank has been vital for bringing informal financial services into the formal sector. Seth Turkper, the Minister of Finance, explains.
Bank of Ghana has extended its regulatory requirements to the strong emergence of microfinance institutions because that is also important in ensuring that the operations of these financial institutions do not become a source of destabilization to the economy.
The building blocks to scale up Ghana's financial system are slowly falling into place. Today, Ghanaians reap the benefit of their country's natural resources, and through the implementation of the Technical Assistance Program, they have more tools to effectively monitor the nation's financial system and check for any weaknesses that could disrupt the growing economy.
We want to develop a thriving, vibrant economy. We can do that through better investments, through the utilization of the resources in a more efficient manner. And the government is ready to do that in order to have the growth that is much faster than what we have now. The vision of this government is to create a strong and resilient economy that delivers on the basic needs of our people in education and in health, and do that by building a strong financial system